This is the headquarters of the Chennai Metropolitan Development Authority. This building in Chennai's Egmore is called the Thalamuthu Natarajan building. Thalamuthu Nadar and Natarajan were jailed in 1939 for taking part in anti-Hindi protests and died in police custody. Today, they are remembered as martyrs of the Hindi resistance movement. The imposition of Hindi has been resisted by Tamil Nadu for almost a century now, from mass protests in the 1930s to student-led agitations in the 1960s, and the political battles even today. Language isn't just about communication. It shapes how we see the world and how the world sees us. That's why it can be such a powerful political force.
और देश की एक भाषा हो, इसी दृष्टि को ध्यान में रखते हुए हमारे पुरखों ने, हमारे स्वतंत्र सेनानियों ने राजभाषा की कल्पना की थी और राजभाषा के रूप में हिंदी को स्वीकार किया.
And if you're watching this from outside Tamil Nadu and are wondering why the state has always pushed back against Hindi, let's break it down. Let's go beyond politics. Take a closer look at Tamil Nadu's anti-Hindi agitations, how they started, and how this fight for language and cultural identity continues to shape the state today. Last week we turned 11, and so many of you sent us the warmest wishes. It truly made our day. I'll be reading out a couple of emails at the end of the show. And if you have been following the news, you must know that the owner of the Washington Post, the world's third richest man, that's Jeff Bezos, has decided that the newspaper's opinion page will only write for free markets and personal liberties. Journalists across the world are reacting in complete shock to how the billionaire is now dictating terms. The Washington Post opinion editor has already resigned. But here at the News Minute, we don't have to listen to our billionaire owner. Well, in part because we don't have one, but also because we don't intend to. We're not funded by politicians either. We're only funded by you, and we only listen to you. So don't just cheer us on from the sidelines, jump right in and support us, because it takes just $500 a month to keep us going. Scan this QR code or click the link in the description to become a News Laundry and News Minute subscriber today. And remember, Let Me Explain drops every Saturday, so don't forget to catch a brand new episode every week. Now back to our topic. The anti-Hindi agitations in Tamil Nadu goes back to at least 1937, a decade before the formation of independent India. Back then, the first ever Congress ministry in the Madras presidency, that was headed by C. Rajagopalachari, decided to make Hindi a compulsory subject in schools. The move set off a firestorm, especially among Tamil political parties and activists, who saw it as a direct attack on the Tamil identity. Periyar E.V. Ramaswamy's self-respect movement didn't hold back. They launched a fierce resistance. The protests were massive, and more than 1,100 people were arrested, including Periyar and C.N. Annadurai, who later founded the Dravida Nadu or DMK. Eventually, in Feb 1940, the order was withdrawn. This 3-year protest was the first agitation against Hindi imposition in the state. 2 young protesters, Thalamuthu and Natarajan, tragically died in prison, and they were the first martyrs of the movement. 50 years later, Chief Minister Karunanidhi honoured them by naming this building after them. Now we need to understand that the movement was driven by a deep love for Tamil, and Annadurai made this very clear several times in Parliament. He said, "I've got a language that's 5,000 years old. If you drink deep the nectar of Tamil classics, you'll only want Tamil to be the national language." In 1946, there was another attempt to reintroduce Hindi in the schools of the Madras presidency. This time, Annadurai led the opposition on behalf of Periyar. The government once again backed down and the move was halted. Periyar and Anna for many years demanded the creation of a separate Dravida Nadu, that's a country for the Dravidian people. They argued that the north, dominated by Hindi-speaking Aryan Brahmanical groups, was exploiting the south economically. Periyar's main argument was that caste system would persist in India as followers of Manu would continue to be in charge. The demand for secession gained momentum for a while. But the States Reorganization Act of 1956 and other geopolitical events put an end to this. But the DMK never shifted its focus from the primary issue, the imposition of Hindi. The language issue also made its way into the debates of the Constituent Assembly, where members were discussing the draft of the Constitution. T.T. Krishnamachari, a Congress member, spoke strongly against making Hindi the common language of India. In this debate, he famously said, "Sir, it's up to my friends in UP to have a whole India. It's up to them to have a Hindi India. The choice is theirs." After a lot of back and forth, the Constituent Assembly came to a compromise known as the Munshi Iyengar formula, named after two assembly members, K.M. Munshi and Gopalaswamy Iyengar. The formula ensured no national language. Instead, Hindi and English would serve as official languages for 15 years, with a language commission set up for 5 years to promote Hindi and phase out English. Another important anti-Hindi agitation was in 1953. The government sought to rename Kalakkudi in Tamil Nadu after industrialist Ramakrishna Dalmia, who was from Rajasthan. A young DMK leader, Karunanidhi, led a massive protest against the renaming. Demonstrators stormed the railway station, plastering over Dalmiapuram sign with Kalakkudi. Karunanidhi and others lay on the tracks, marking Tamil Nadu's first rail roko. The protest escalated, police resorted to lathi charge and eventually opened fire. This injured 10 and killed 2 bystanders. Karunanidhi and others were jailed for 5 months. He then became a household name in Tamil Nadu. Now let's forward to the 1960s, when the language issue resurfaced with a vengeance, especially with the introduction of the Official Languages Act. The 15-year period for English to remain as an associate language was also about to end. DMK's lone member in Rajya Sabha, Annadurai, strongly argued for English to remain an official language indefinitely. He made 3 important points. Annadurai said, people often ask him, why don't you learn Hindi? Why should you be against any one language? And this is what he said.
We apprehend that there is a move to create a linguistic hegemony or a Hindi imperialism in this country. That is not going to take place in the south, if I may say so, Bengal too.
On the argument that Hindi is needed for national integration, he said,
please do not think that you can integrate the country only by language. Did you speak in Hindi to me asking me to support the government of India against foreign aggression? No. Loyalty to the country is composed of various kinds of loyalties, and loyalty to our language is not less in intensity.
He also opposed the demand that Hindi should be made the official language because it was spoken by 42% of the population. He pointed out that if this 42% was evenly distributed across India, then the argument might hold merit. But since Hindi speakers are largely concentrated in contiguous regions, it would be a lasting advantage to the areas while putting other regions at a permanent disadvantage. But despite this opposition, the Congress pushed through the act completely unchanged. In 1963, DMK launched a direct action protest against Hindi, which escalated very quickly. It intensified after Annadurai's arrest for allegedly planning to burn parts of the constitution. He was released months later, but re-arrested again in 1965. 2 days later, 2 DMK members died by self-immolation, sparking city-wide clashes and forcing colleges to shut down temporarily. Tensions peaked on Feb 11th when police fired on protesters, killing a teenager. To this day, Jan 25th is observed by DMK and ADMK in remembrance of those who died in the movement. The protests, which began in Chennai, started to spread statewide and finally calmed down only after Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri assured that English would remain an associate language, and this helped diffuse tensions. The agitation's impact was evident in the 1967 elections, where Congress lost its grip on the Madras presidency. A key moment came when student leader P. Srinivasan defeated former Chief Minister K. Kamaraj in his hometown. The DMK came to power, and many of the student leaders who played key roles in the 1965 anti-Hindi agitation went on to become important political figures in the years to come. The agitation also had a lasting impact on language policy. it led to Tamil Nadu rejecting the centre's proposed three-language policy in 1968 and instead firmly adopting a two-language policy, Tamil and English. Wait, we are not yet done. Tamil Nadu's fight for language-based identity hasn't just been about politics. It's also played out through linguistic plurality movements. A major force in this is the Thanitha Tamil Iyakkam, meaning Independent Tamil Movement. Two young men staged a hunger strike outside the Madras radio station protesting the use of Sanskrit term Akashwani for broadcasts. They demanded a Tamil equivalent. After the DMK came to power, it renamed Tamil Nadu's radio stations as Tamil Vanoli. Since the DMK split in 1972, giving rise to the ADMK, Tamil Nadu has alternated between two Dravidian parties, with national parties like Congress playing only a supporting role. What's especially interesting is that despite AIADMK's later alliance with the BJP, it has consistently stood its ground against Hindi imposition. Now let's come back to the present. The union government led by the BJP has been visibly pushing for the promotion of Hindi. In 2017, the Modi government sparked backlash by replacing English with Hindi on Tamil Nadu's highway signs. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has argued that the state's two-language policy is key to its strong education system with high enrollment and low dropout rates. Tension has escalated again when the Modi government withheld over 2,000 crores in education funds after Tamil Nadu rejected the new three-language formula put forth by the NEP, which is the new education policy. Those who are a part of this movement insist that the fight isn't just about Hindi. It's about protecting Tamil identity and resisting force. It feels like cultural imposition that is irrelevant to their daily lives and professional growth.
परंतु जरूरत है कि देश की एक भाषा हो जिसके कारण विदेशी भाषाओं को जगह न मिले.
The linguistic differences between Hindi and Tamil is also a practical challenge. Hindi, an Indo-Aryan language, is heavily influenced by Sanskrit, whereas Tamil, which is a Dravidian language, has a separate origin and structure. Everything from grammar and syntax to pronunciation is distinct. Hindi borrows heavily from Sanskrit, whereas Tamil remains largely insulated from its influence. For Tamil speakers, learning Hindi isn't just about picking up new words. It means adapting a completely different sentence structure and even pronunciation. Every language has the potential to bring people together. And there are people in Tamil Nadu who do learn Hindi. And there are Hindi-speaking people in Tamil Nadu who go on to learn Tamil. People pick up languages when they feel the need to, whether for work, travel or culture. The question Tamil Nadu is asking is very simple. Why force people to learn language when they don't even need it? That's it for me for this week, but like I promised earlier, I will be reading out a couple of emails that you have sent to us. Arun Francis says on the previous episode of mine on the appointment of CEC, such a blatant abuse of the democratic process shows how low our politicians have stooped, that there is not even a semblance of fair play anymore. Sometimes I wonder how long it will take for the people of this country to wake up. I fail to understand why political parties are not even making this a big deal. Why is there no nationwide protest? As far as waking up of the country is concerned, we do what we can to make sure that we put facts in front of you every single week. Ranjal Chako says more power to you and bless you for your courage and professional standards. Hari Kishan says, firstly, I'd like to congratulate you and your colleagues at the News Minute for completing 11 years. Thank you so much. I hope you are a subscriber by now. It's hard to believe that a ragtag team of journalists with meager resources not just survived the tide of misinformation and intimidation, but also continues to grow and thrive. I thank you and your team for being the voice of reason and bringing hard-hitting stories which hold those in power to account. Well, I can assure you that we'll continue doing that. But as I keep reminding you, we cannot do this without your support. So what are you waiting for? Before I go, make sure that you become a subscriber of the News Minute and News Laundry.